But what I'm telling you is in the currency of God, money has no value at all unless there are specific purposes that God desires situations and needs to be met. And even in a situation such as that, we find Jesus with his disciples. They needed to pay taxes. Jesus told one of them to go fishing, and the first fish that you pull out will have a gold piece in his mouth. So we spend so much time trying to be rich, but when God needs money to satisfy a particular purpose, it will manifest. We don't have to go back to our notebooks and see if we work this principle, if we work this principle, so now we should be experiencing Potiphar's, financial wellness or Abraham's wellness or somebody, somebody in the Bible's wellness. The reality is you are just as much a child of God as anyone in the Bible, and God's desire for you is God's desire for you, not what God's desire was for somebody else. If God's desire was for Job to be wealthy, then that was for Job. Instead of us trying to acquire or obtain the blessing that God had for someone else, we need to be seeking God to find out what God has for our life. And do you see what I'm saying? And so we spend all of our time trying to chase a blessing that someone else had that we read about, when we are just as unique as that individual is, and God has a particular plan for our own lives. So we need to begin seeking God for that. It may have nothing to do with money, but the eternal rewards will be far greater for us than having spent all of our life trying to attain something that we weren't supposed to have. I mean, we understand by Scripture that God owns everything. That God isn't poor, that God really isn't even driven by, our value system of financial wealth or financial prosperity. So we need to recognize then that, we also embrace that God could open up the windows of heaven and pour us on a blessing that we cannot even handle, right? And we can't contain. So we understand that if God desires you to have something, it's not about what you have to do to make it happen. It's simply God's desire, you being the child of God, it will manifest. So racking your brain, trying this business, trying that business, and this business, we understand that if a door is closed, that God desires closed, there's nothing that we can do to open it. And if there's a door that God desires to be open, there's nothing that we can do to close it. So rather than spend so much time trying to find the way to get financially wealthy, let's just sit back and figure out what God desires for our life and walk in that and be spiritually wealthy in the eyes of God.